Content warning. This episode includes discussion around suicide and emotional distress. Please take care while listening and pause if you need to. If anything we talk about brings up difficult feelings for you, you can reach out to me, Michael Blown. My contact details will be at the end of the episode. Or you can reach out to another qualified therapist for support. If you feel in crisis or unsafe with your thoughts, please contact the Samaritans on 116123. They're available 24 hours a day. Remember, you don't have to face things alone.
How do you feel now looking back to that time?
Sad about it. Like it's that taboo still thing. I feel insecure probably.
Yeah, it is something I've considered, something I've planned.
Something you planned?
Yep. Knew how I was going to do it, knew when I was going to do it, knew why I was going to do it.
The thoughts, the words just came out. I'm juggling plates and I just turned around to her and went, I'm going to commit suicide.
Although we attempted to film this episode, one of the cameras ran out of battery about 15 minutes in. So if you're watching this, apologies, someone forgot to switch the plug on. I hope you're able to enjoy this week's episode regardless.
Hold on.
What have you got on this tree?
Oh, paint on this?
Oh.
Where did that come from?
Got
some burn on this?
Oh, that's
Got
not
one down your
some,
back
that's
as well.
quite a lot of paint.
Is it?
You got a bit of green on your back as well. Where'd you go? Where did you put that? So did you just change into that t-shirt? You had that on when you come in, didn't you?
No.
Evie's been painting today, so did you go in the bathroom?
No, you went.
I put it on
You put it on the table, didn't you?
table.
What, on the table in...
Yeah.
Yeah, Evie's been painting today. It's washable, it'll be fine.
Wait, I put this on the table.
What, on the dining table?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Evie's been...
Do you know what's brilliant? Is he said that we're the angry ones. Did you see his face?
Fuming. So,
I don't want to.
hello.
Here we go.
Welcome
Hi.
back
Sorry.
to a new episode of Between the Rolls. Theme tune. So
Just want to get two buns to go.
that'd be the thumbnail for
Every single time.
I'm literally here just to supply
Pure
thumbnails.
clickbait.
Anyway, welcome to the episode.
Hello, welcome everyone. Nice to see you again.
And you.
So slightly different theme this time round. I kind of want to think about what it feels like to be overwhelmed and anger and like the pressure of all of the roles that we play that we've kind of talked about previously. So I guess as an opening question, how often do you feel overwhelmed and what do you do when you do feel overwhelmed? What does that kind of feel like?
Every day.
Okay.
Every day. I'm overwhelmed, angry, stressed. And I'll be quite blunt, pharmaceutical is the way I deal with it at present, and I think that's it. That always has a stigma attached to it. You know, what do you do? Well, that's my main thing. You know, reaching out to people, yes, but I can't reach out to people if I'm not levelled. I think that's a big thing to kind of just be quite clear on as well, because I know there's the stance of, and sorry, because I know you're a therapist, that talking is, you know, one of the key things, but also I think it's glossed over, you know, if you're not chemically stable.
Yeah.
You know, you can't take that step, can you? So,
Yeah.
It is really hard to reach out to people
sorry.
when you're at your point of just not giving up, but you've had a really bad week, let's say at work, you're struggling at home, the weather's getting you down, everything's just getting on top of you, and it, like, you see a lot of the mind adverts and stuff, and it says reach out to people. That's ultimately 9 times out of 10, I know for me, it's the last thing I want to do. But it's because that's what also is annoying. It's like, why should I have to reach out to someone for someone to turn around and go, how are you doing, Luke? Like, let's have a conversation, let's have a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, whatever. So I can fully understand you saying that you don't want to reach out to people until you feel leveled, and by the time you're leveling, you're coming down anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, yeah.
Chicken.
Yeah, no, and I guess kind of when I say I won't do anything till I'm level, like from a pharmaceutical basis, I will. And again, you know, you guys have all seen me when I've had times when I've not been on my medication. You know, I think you probably the most, Mike. And you know, it happened when we went away the other month. You know, I was stupid enough to forget it, and we saw how that manifests. So. It was. I mean, I look back now and I can laugh about it, but I can imagine how uncomfortable, and it took one of our other mates to kind of get in my face a little bit and sort of have a conversation with me. And you know, cool, all right, fine. I guess as well, like walking. I know that sounds really basic, but rather than talking, walking. And I don't know if exercise is the same for you. Like for me, that proprioceptive kind of doing something to that's a big word, by the way. I hope you like it. Yeah, honestly, as sore as that. I think it's just that. Yeah. I say a word like proprioceptive. It's that activity of doing something to just expel it all.
When is that not enough?
I would say in the last 3 years that has always been enough.
Okay.
And I don't know if that's the same for you boys, or if, you know, it's quite a sensitive one, isn't it? Because you can become that overwhelmed, and I know I've spoke to you about when I've been at that worst point, and not as a therapist, as a friend, and what that meant for me then. You know, fortunately I've not had to be at that when it's not enough point over the last 3 or 4 years, so I can't answer that one. But exercise and drugs.
Yeah, I think there's sometimes a certain stigma around drugs, that it's like an easy way out kind of thing. But I think
you wouldn't say that if it was cancer, or if it was, you know, like I've got a physical impairment. We all know that this week. Yeah. You know, I've had to have a treatment for it. Well, I wasn't going to go and talk to someone about it.
I think, especially in the therapy world, I guess, quite often I have clients who might be on certain medication and stuff, and they ask me for advice, like whether they should come off of it or whatever. I'm never qualified to answer that question anyway. If it works for them, it works for them, and you kind of say, like, you know, medication and therapy work hand in hand. You've got to combat the physical symptoms, which is all like the chemical imbalances in the brain and all that sort of stuff, and you've got to try and get to the root cause of some of that stuff as well. Like having one without the other, it doesn't always
depends on the person.
It depends on the person as well, but I do think it can get overlooked sometimes. That it is a chemical thing, like you said. Like, you are a very different person when you're not medicated.
Yeah, thanks.
I'm not saying you're a bad person when you're not medicated.
I just become different.
But you can tell the difference.
Yeah.
Like you can almost see it in your eyes sometimes.
Yeah, and you know what? It's quite nice to be able to be that open with people. I think for years, I didn't talk to anyone about it. It was like this taboo thing. And I think it was only really, say your stag do, when I was really completely open about it and was like, right, this is how it's going to be. You know, not how it's going to be, but like, you know.
Boys, this is
I think even you at one point said to me, like, you're going to go and take your meds now, Rich?
Wouldn't surprise me. That sounds like something I'd say.
You know, and it's, hey, I'm very aware that I'm quite comfortable and open talking about it now, so I feel like whenever I get that opportunity, I want to talk about it.
I suppose it makes people more comfortable about it, and then when you get that positive reinforcement,
and
it makes them talk about it more.
It's just, it, like you've said, it needs the dual aspect, whatever kind of therapy that is. You know, for me, it's walking and being with my mates, or playing golf or whatever. You know, the Instagram, TikTok kind of answer, but it's true, it helps. You know, yeah.
Who's in there that exercise releases dopamine, is it?
Yeah.
Which then
Oxytocin.
improves
Yeah.
your thoughts and behaviour anyway, which is why they always say do that.
And good cardiovascular systems, you know, are healthier. You know, you get more oxygen around your whole body, therefore you know, feel lighter. But you know, it's medically proven that, you know, it helps everything work a lot more efficiently.
So you need
Isn't dopamine, isn't
You need
it? Another thing that helps the synapses like fire quicker, and then that helps
I believe so. Yeah, I'd have to.
chemicals move around quicker,
Yeah.
more positively.
Do you know what? That's the beauty of psychiatrists. You know, they say take that, and you go okay. Yeah, you know, like 1 sweet, 2 sweet, 3 sweet.
Smart.
But it works, you know, and I think kind of if it works, again, I would never pressure someone to say you must try it. You know,
Yeah.
I know the signs, and I think having worked in the field for a long time now, you kind of know the signs in other people, because one, I know it through job, and two, I certainly know it through personal.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying you know, I'm fortunate that I don't have a psychosis problem, but it is more than.
But it's also such a process to get the right level of medication as
Oh.
well, isn't it?
I've been on the journey for, Christ, not that long, 2,000 years. No, easily 10 years.
Yeah.
10 years.
So again, I think that's something that's
I
like
just love you.
that maybe some people overlook as well. Like I've had clients in the past go through that journey of finding the right medication for them, the right dosage for them, and the ups and downs that can bring. And it's
not
an incredible process.
not giving it time. You know, you don't just, well, most people don't just buy a car and go after 3 months. Not for me.
Yeah.
You can't afford to. So why do we look at it like that with our health, whether it be physical or mental health? Why you've got to give it a fair chance. You know, I've had that conversation daily for the last 4 years with people. Go through the process. You know, yeah, you'll have shit side effects. It is, you know, that's just the way it is. But what would you rather have? Complete blow-ups, you know, where you get to a point where you're like Vesuvius.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's what it's worth, isn't it?
Yeah, and again, it's a personal journey, and
Or what could it cost you? Kind of things like the people
Yeah,
around you are going to take it anyway.
you know, Christ, it can affect anyone in 100 different ways. But you know, I just turned out to get more legendary, so there's that.
What about you, Rob? When do you feel overwhelmed?
It's
What
hard.
do you do when you feel overwhelmed?
I mean, at the minute I'm not overwhelmed, and it's probably one of the most underwhelmed I think I've ever been right at this moment in time.
Is that just spending time with us, though?
Yeah.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
like,
So-
I'm obviously not that great then.
You know, it's just the same word, like, it sounds, yeah. But I don't know. I think I am someone that can get overwhelmed really quickly, and someone that is immensely like self-critical, and I judge myself constantly, and then I just drag myself down in a way. I don't think I've necessarily got a coping mechanism of what I do. I think I've had things I've really struggled with in the past, like something like PTSD and things like that, or things that happened in my life, and they've took me a very long time to get some form of hold of it, but it's still not managed very properly, kind of thing. But the only thing I can really say, and I could say it being now in a good place, is having my wife and you guys to talk to. But
I'm sorry, I used that one last week.
but like, we've been friends for so long, and I'm still not good at doing that thing. So my answer is probably I'm not overwhelmed at the minute. Not too long ago, I was probably at one of the highest I've been. Not the highest I've been overwhelmed, but haven't necessarily got a good coping strategy. Haven't got like a tool I could use. I've got people who push their way in when I entirely push everything away. Like when I know when sometimes I'm at my lowest, I could happily go an entire day where I don't say a single word, and that's more out of I have no energy to say a word. I only would talk because it would be unfair on the other people, kind of thing. But I can entirely recluse and just on the edge of like self-destruct in a way, but in a way hold it together because other people don't necessarily deserve me to suddenly go missing, kind of thing. Yeah, I don't think we've overwhelmed at all very well.
So when you feel overwhelmed, it is that behaviour is to be a recluse and to kind of...
It is to almost do nothing.
Yeah.
Like,
shut down.
I don't want to eat, I don't want to talk, I don't want to anything, really. Yeah, nothing at all.
I don't want to hijack answers and stuff, but that must be really hard. Especially, like, I'm looking at the three of you, being a dad, being a husband.
Yeah.
How can you just, like... Selfishly, I can just shut down. Like, I've only got to worry about my wife.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, you know, she doesn't like me anyway. But I don't know how you guys... Do you feel like that's a factor?
I think it's how the other people around you then help you with it. So say like my wife, we've had quite serious conversations where like there's times where you're clearly not in a good place and you're going at the children and it's too much and you're going at me too much.
Yeah.
We've had to have a conversation where I'm like, we need something that you say to me where I listen to that as I just need to stop.
Safe word almost.
Yeah, and that safe word is go somewhere else or do something else. And I almost had to say to her, I think we need to do this because sometimes you're telling me I'm not coping and it makes me worse, and sometimes you're telling me to calm down and it makes me worse. And like my wife even says, like, there's times when I just need you to come and hug me because I'm in a really bad place, and she's like, but you look like you're going to punch me in the face. Why would I come hug someone who's going to punch me in the face? And it's like, well, I'm not. I said, but you look so enraged.
Yeah, you've got past that.
Yeah, and I'm just like, but I'm at the point where like I can't communicate. I'm enraged, so it is the element of
primal. Like.
I just shut down in that corner.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to come out of it. And at the minute, I think like you said, exercise. I've just recently started going to the gym, and I'm feeling in a better place with it. And it means I've started work quite well recently, so I think I'm coping things better because I'm exercising, and there's that maybe slightly bit of a chemical imbalance. But yeah, I'm learning strategies, but I'm still at the very like beginning fundamental stage of them kind of thing.
Starts with that though, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, yeah. Try to.
Okay.
Lucas?
Fitness. I throw myself into running, cycling, everything possible. Coping mechanism, distraction mechanism. I think it's a bit hard of which one's which. Is it I'm coping with it, that's my way of coping with it and kind of release it, or am I distracting myself from what actually needs to be done and sorted out? It's kind of, I'm not really sure sometimes. Probably a bit of both. But yeah, it's all fitness, especially if I am going, it's going to happen within the next month or so as the nights are getting darker, the weather turns, and I will inevitably start to get depressed. And it's, why am I epileptic? Why can't I drive? If I could do this, I could do that. And that then starts digging in. And then it's, well, if I wasn't epileptic, let's say, if I wasn't epileptic and everything, I could then get up to the gym and I could do my own workouts. Because I can't go on my bike, I can't go on my, I could go on a bike in the rain, but then I'm just going to get wet and I'm just going to be miserable anyway. And it's kind of that endless cycle.
If you had a car though, dude, you'd get angry in the car on the way there.
And then
Right to McDonald's.
You know, right,
but if I had a car, I'd be able to go out to the gym a bit easier on my own. I'm lucky at the moment that I live near a gym,
Yeah.
Where essentially I will look to signing back up to. But I would say it's 50-50. That is a coping mechanism / distraction technique. Because I'm fully aware sometimes there's stuff that I should be doing. Talking to you boys, talking to my dad, my family. It could be work related. And instead it's, you know what, I'm training for a marathon at the moment, let's make sure I do that. Yeah. I think some of that might be more, not so much the way that I'm feeling. I think that's some of my ADHD and all sorts kicking in. So it's kind of, again, it's hard to kind of say what levels went what, but I would probably say generally the fitness is my coping mechanism.
What does it look like for you to be overwhelmed? Because I don't feel like I've seen that very often from you. Like, I know when you come in tonight, like you said, like you've had a mad busy week and stuff at work. I don't know, you boys, I don't feel like I've seen you massively, like, I know we've talked in the last episode about getting angry or frustrated and all that sort of stuff. You always come across as someone who is very laid back, very chill, kind of take things in your stride kind of person. I don't feel like I've seen too much of you feel.
It's strange because that was something that I would say I've worked on, and it's probably something that we mentioned I think in the first session. I'm not sure obviously what order these are coming out in.
Yeah.
But it's something that I've worked on, and it's probably a bit of a face persona.
Okay.
That kind of is probably put out there sometimes. I go silent. I go very much panic. I'm a swan, a duck. I'm a paddling underneath, and I'm just smiling above. I had it at work a little while ago, probably about 3 months ago or so, and I just had to. It got to the point where I just had to speak to someone, and I just went, I can't do it, and I just had to hold my hands up, and I've never done that previously in my work. I just said it. I'm very lucky. I've got some really good line management, and they just went, "That's fine. Let's just take a break on what we're doing. Let's break it all down. Let's take some work from you to kind of see how we can go from there."
What did that feel like?
I hated it. Absolutely hated, because you are so vulnerable at that point. Going, I can't do it, and I feel that I should do it. The only ever time I've done it is one time really with Charlie, where it was. I'll be honest. I don't even think I told you boys. I might have told you. I'm not sure. So this was back at our old house, and it had been a build-up of work-related. I think little man was only very little. I'm not really sure. Everything was just kind of, I'm juggling plates, and I just turned around to her and went, I'm going to commit suicide. And I have never, the words just came out, and I was just like, I don't think I am, but I feel like I want to. It was really weird. And obviously, yeah, she told me to go do one and grow up, but
Wow.
no, obviously we had a really good conversation. We embraced and all sorts, and yeah, that must be really hard for her. If she comes on, it'd be obviously really interesting to get her point of view of that. But it was something that we really did struggle with at that point, and it was just. But prior to that, there was no signs of anger, upset. I just went silent, and that probably went silent for about 2 weeks, and I was probably still doing my golf and all that kind of thing. We was probably still playing golf together, but there wasn't a lot of conversation being had.
Mm.
There wasn't. I didn't feel like I needed to. I didn't feel like I wanted to. It was just I need to get out of the house, and the way for me to get out of the house is someone's asked me to go and play golf. Oh, okay, let's go and do it.
Is it like an element of like just completely and utterly like burnout with like
Yeah,
life?
I
Like,
think it's
there's nothing left to give, so it's just I'm just empty now, kind of thing.
and I think at the time it's hard to think back because this is, if I remember rightly, it's probably a good 5 years ago now, and if I remember rightly, it was just a empty feeling, and I could totally see where the figures come from, where people turn around and say, yeah, but he was laughing with me at the pub and now he's going to commit suicide. I can see where they come from because you put a face on it, you put a front on it. So I've had that, but that was, as I said, donkeys ago, probably even longer than 5 years ago. But that's my overwhelming feeling is usually I go silent. Other than that, I would say I'm fairly good at dealing with I'm very good at putting different priorities, let's say. Not so much prioritising like work and stuff, I still struggle with that. But I'm very aware, I've got a pyramid, my family's at the top, and that's what I've got to deal with. Underneath that, I've got my family. Underneath that, I've got my friends. Underneath that, I've got, I don't know, this work. Underneath that, I've got social media or anything that I want to put into it. And ultimately, I've said it to my boss before. I was like, work is work. It is not going to control me. And I, as you said, I've got a very stressful job and very stressful period at the moment. However, I'm very good at kind of going, you know what, it's still going to be there, whether I'm there or not. So I try not to let it overwhelm me that much. Sorry for this.
No, that's...
I saw you look at your watch.
Just messaged him saying, come on.
Yeah. I guess before I'm going to chip in with my answer, I think I'm going to pivot slightly around that feeling because I don't think we ever spoke about that period of your life where you felt like you wanted to commit suicide or you said that out loud or I don't think maybe we did. I know it was a long time ago. It doesn't spring to mind. But I guess I want to put it out to you. Have you ever been in a position where you felt that?
It's hard to share it in a way. I mean, yeah, a few times, quite a few times. Yeah.
Is that what you want to say? You don't have to. You obviously don't have to go into it, but I think it's important and interesting.
Something I've never really shared with anyone in a way, kind of thing. But yeah, quite a few times, to be honest. Yeah, I think I struggled growing up with self-esteem quite a lot. So I struggled with it a lot then. I think at university I didn't necessarily enjoy that. I massively struggled with it then. And I think after university, trying to figure out what to do with life then, and not to, well, probably, to be honest, big her up in a way. But since I met my wife, I then haven't really felt it at all. And it was kind of one of the things, I've not said it to her in a way, to be honest, but one of the things that told me the most of that she's, not the most, sorry, but one of the things that was very significant to me of one day literally being like, that feeling's not been there for quite a while, and not realising it's not been there and knowing like, right, this is a person that actually emotionally kind of like engages me, but makes me like engage myself, my own emotions to myself. So yeah, I think it's quite a hard like I'm proud of you in a way for bringing it up in a way, because it's hard to just say I wouldn't have said it in a way, kind of thing, because I think I don't know. I think it's
a hard topic to talk about.
It's taboo, and it's that real struggling.
I
You don't want other people now to have that worry that you'd gone through that and you'd done it on your own, or you may still be feeling it, and there's that worry of, you don't want to put that pressure on someone else. I mean, I might be wrong in that, but
no, well, it's just the element of what was going on, and I think I felt it for a long time, so it was just like everything was just life was the thing going on, but I think it's I don't know what to say about it anyway.
How do you feel now looking back to that time?
Sad about it. Like it's that taboo still thing. I feel insecure probably about it. I don't feel it anymore. I guess I haven't felt it for a long time.
Just under your trousers.
Does it feel a little bit better knowing that one of your closest pals has been able to open up about it?
Yeah.
And been
but I think there's just that insecurity of it still. Just
what are you feeling insecure about?
Should we go?
Sorry, I don't want to turn into a therapy set, but if
I think you all probably know me as someone who's always been very insecure, very self-conscious.
You are a bae, so there's no need to say that.
Well, I've always struggled with it. Like even growing up, my mum always kind of like I was so vain and I was just so self-conscious, but that was because I put what I had to look like or be like on such a high thing that I couldn't reach it, and then was just constantly failing at doing that. And again, even I said like this is probably the best place I've been in my life with Overwhelmed, because it's one of the best places where I've been with how do I manage my fitness? How am I going to achieve something? How am I going to be long-term successful at it? But I spent 34 years of doing an absolute shit job of managing that, of having to be like doing it but doing it wrong, so then I ultimately fail, or not doing it and then being so miserable that I'm not doing it that it's just a constant circle of failure kind of thing. So I can't remember my point now, but I feel really uncomfortable about it, but
I don't want to tell you. It's a sensitive subject, isn't it? Like I don't want this to turn into a therapy session. But what I want it to do is not only to make all of us feel comfortable talking about it, because again, I don't think it's anything we've really discussed.
No.
I know we've talked in the past when you have felt low, but I don't think it's ever got to that point of you turning around and saying, I want to kill myself, or it would be better if I wasn't here. And I guess that's the point of bringing it up now, is just, but even if it's just between us or whoever hears this, to kind of go, actually, I feel like that. Who is it that I can talk to? Who can I mention it to? What can I do to pull me out of that? And I think like you said, it is such a taboo subject.
I'm not sure it's a taboo subject anymore. I think it's a subject that a lot of people are willing to talk about and do talk about. I think it's what stops it is the vulnerability.
And that's what I was going to say, like, you feel insecure about even mentioning it now. You're not in that place anymore, and you haven't been for a while. But I guess that's what I'm interested in, that feeling of, where does that come from, that feeling? Like,
what, the secure to talk about it, or the insecure to talk about it, or both?
Yeah, like both really. I think we're better at talking about suicide and mental health and all that sort of stuff. But when people are actually in that place, what is that insecurity that holds them back from saying,
I need help.
I need help. Like you two have shared your experience. and have never shared that with anyone. It's the first time in this.
I think it's the masculinity. What's the word? Persona that basically we've got to be in. I'm in a job that genuinely very masculine job.
Yeah.
And so in particular, me, let's say my job wise, it's a subject that I can't imagine having that conversation much with anyone in the team. For them saying, "Oh yeah, I feel bad," as well as let's say not work-wise, family life. We are dads, and dads are masculine. Dads provide. We go to work. If we could, I'm sure I know you're.
It's fine.
I know you're a dog dad.
Yeah.
But ultimately, at the same time, you've got your wife at home. If you were in a position where she could stay at home and not work, I bet you still would. I know if I was in a position that I could work hard so my wife could stay at home, I would. Stephen or not.
I'd work hard to give her the choice to go do whatever she wanted to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd work my ass off so she could be...
So I think the vulnerability, it comes from the fact of that's that lack in masculinity that you're opening up and you're having to kind of, you're vulnerable. You're at that point, you're most vulnerable, and it almost takes you back to when you were a kid again and you're left on the playground on your own with no one to play with. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, I need someone's help. And you've obviously spoke to Sarah about it, and I spoke to...
I haven't spoken to Sarah about it, no.
Oh, this is going to be really awkward.
Sorry, Sarah.
So sorry, no, I didn't. But yeah, that's how, I think that's where my vulnerability is. When I'm immensely, like, vulnerable is not the right word for me, but just like lost is probably the better word. I don't have any words to say. Especially not those words, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Even I've not even said it now, to be honest. I can't even. You said it, but I still don't think I could say the words in a way of the severeness of it, kind of thing.
But like, I said it to Stephen. I didn't say it to Stephen. I wouldn't have a clue what I was saying.
That would be.
Before we have an open relationship, but no. Obviously, I said it to Charlie, and it was at that point that again, yes, I was being completely vulnerable, but it was a massive weight off your shoulders, because at that point I knew I wasn't going to do anything. At that point I knew all I needed was a conversation, a hug.
As soon as you verbalised that, as soon as you said that to her, you felt that.
Massively. As soon as I verbalised it, that I have all these thoughts, and it's quite common with someone with epilepsy to have suicidal thoughts. It comes with every medication that you have, and it's very hard to distinguish whenever you're feeling depressed or when it's your medicine making you depressed. And it's not generally, I wouldn't say that I suffer from depression or anything. Generally, I'm a very outgoing guy. I'm very, as you said, I deal with things very well. Just at this point in my life, it all got on top of me, whatever it may have been. And as soon as I verbalised that I was having these thoughts, and these thoughts were scaring me, whether I was planning on taking action or not, it was a ton of weight off me, because suddenly someone else was there to help. Whether she was all she was going to do was give me a hug. I couldn't even. She's got a much better memory. If you chat to her, I'm sure she'd be able to say. But even if all she was there was to give me a hug, there was someone else there to help, not hinder. Where prior to that, it was I remember the feeling more than what was going on in my life. And I remember standing, washing up. I think we had just finished washing up, and I just turned around to Charlie and I said, I need to chat. And I think she must have thought I was splitting up with her or something. because it
She
was
was
like
like,
it was that kind of. Yeah,
She was like,
oh, let's hug.
under the suitcase.
she needed the hug more than he did.
But no, generally the way obviously I started the conversation, she must have thought something crazy was going to happen. But well, mate, yourself, I don't know. That might be.
No, I'm
Rich.
quite happy listening, to be fair.
With them ears, I can imagine.
What's that?
With them ears, I can imagine.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. Yeah, it is something I've considered, something I've planned.
Something you planned.
Knew how I was going to do it, knew when I was going to do it, knew why I was going to do it. I'm not going to sit here and bullshit and say it still doesn't come into my mind. Can't tell you for why. It sucks. It's one of those things that I think kind of will always, hopefully not, but I do think it's one of those things that will always be there, whether that be the short-term thought of I'm going to drive my car into a wall, or like this is how I'm going to do it, you know. And that might surprise people because obviously I probably don't come across as someone who would want to do that, but yeah,
I think we've had chats before.
Yeah,
on the golf course.
I think I'm quite open about it. To be fair, I will normally just be honest about it.
Where do those thoughts and feelings come from?
I don't know. Genuinely, it could be, and I think a lot of it is from overwhelm of like stuff's too much, and I think my tolerance, although outside I'm not tolerating, like I might just be, oh, he's having an outburst, he's angry, but inside I'm thinking, right, well, this is how I'm going to do it tomorrow, you know, and that's it just stays in my mind. Probably should have a chat with my doctor, really. I can say that with a smile because you know, it's all good.
I once brought this up with my doctor, and I said that must have been I don't even remember when it was. I was like, I get the urge to. This is when I was probably maybe 17, 18, something like that, and I was like, I get the urge just to jump, put my foot in the road. Train's coming past, and it's always. And his response was, that's perfectly normal. We all have the inquisitive behaviour around us. I've just told you I'm tempted to kill myself. And the doctor literally turned around and said, that's completely normal.
I think if you...
Chill.
and from...
So chill.
I think there is an element of normality to that.
There is, and kind of I have had that conversation, you know, hence why I'm on different medication and whatnot. I've had that discussion with my GP, and he was like, is it a like he used those words, you know, is it a genuine or a general curiosity or thought, sporadic thought, or is it what's the next thought you have after that? You know, so many times I've thought, I don't give a shit if people don't care, if like get upset if I'm not here anymore. Like it doesn't bother me. I don't want to be here. Like it's not at that point, you know, you're saying like what drags you back up. At that point for me, absolutely nothing. And I love my wife to death, but at that point I don't care. Like I'm in my head, I'm like, if I don't get up tomorrow, it's not going to be a problem. Or if I don't drive home and I do something stupid, for want of a way people say it, I don't care, you know. And I think that sticks with me, and that's something that I'm not very. That's the non-openness about it. Like I have had that conversation with people, but no one really knows that it's constantly there, and I don't know if that's a worry or if it's like a. For me, is it like a check-in in my brain, like, oh, you want to kill yourself? You're still alive. You know, like I don't know. You know, is it sort of just a thought pattern that I've got in, or is it something more serious? I mean, again, that's my journey to go on, isn't it? But yeah, to answer your question, regularly, yeah, which is probably, you know, I just think I don't normalise it. Well, I do actually. I'm sat here and I'm rationalising.
Do you speak to your other half much about it?
She knows that I've had those thoughts. I don't want to worry her with it. I don't want to, you know, because it's my problem, isn't it? You know, and I guess that's kind of where I'm more sitting on your fence rather than your fence. I think it would worry her. Not that I don't think she's strong enough to deal with it, but I think it would worry her too much, and I don't want to be constantly checked in on. Which sounds quite selfish, but apparently the act of suicide is selfish. I don't go with that school of thought. I never have done.
You didn't go to school, so.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, grew up in Chatham, mate. But no, I think that answers the question. But don't worry, I'm not gonna.
How do you deal with
Don't
being
worry,
overwhelmed?
we ain't letting you.
How do I deal with being overwhelmed? Very similar, actually. I do go within myself. I go quite quiet. I've realised probably over the last few years I am someone who needs my own space. I'm quite happy in my own company, and for me that's a good way of coping when I do feel overwhelmed. As much as I like playing golf with you boys, I do love going around on my own and just being in my own, just for a few hours, just with my own thoughts, listening to music or just processing everything that's going on. Going to the cinema on my own, whatever, even if it's just sitting indoors, just sitting downstairs, watching some stupid TV or whatever it is. I'm very happy on my own, and that's how I cope with being overwhelmed. In a not so healthy way, I do get quite angry and quite frustrated. Growing up, I used to get quite angry and frustrated over the little things, like if a computer's not working or whatever, and I used to throw my weight around and punch walls and all that kind of stuff. Occasionally I still do that, depending on the level of frustration, I think, especially having Evie, like there are moments where
Don't push her, dear.
oh, don't push her, no. But where I have been
Just throws around.
yeah, like Matilda with the pigtails. No, I don't. I promise I don't. But like, you know, there are situations like, you know, we can all relate to that, where there's just something that's, I don't think primal's the word, but just something that's just like instinctive almost, just that pure rage. I've never been angry massively in front of her. She's never seen me like punch a wall or anything like that. But there are moments like that, and when that happens, it's a very quick come down. Just that release of anger or whatever it is, it's a very quick, okay, that was wrong, like a few deep breaths and I kind of get over it. So it hasn't happened for a long time ish.
I find it so hard to believe that you three get angry.
I
Not
get
angry.
Yeah, I was
Two of
gonna
you.
say,
Yeah,
like,
I do.
I just-
I massively do.
I know we've spoke about it, and I know you've mentioned it a few times, and I know you do.
You've seen it.
Yeah.
You know.
With me, it's things I know it's other things I can't control. I know, like, I can't control Evie, how she behaves sometimes. I can't control workload.
All them pigtails, don't they?
Yeah. But for me, that's my hang up, is that, but I am managing that, and I'm never going to be perfect at that, and I know that, but it's a constant work in progress. I know what I need to do to be able to manage those things better.
The vulnerable question.
The vulnerable question. There was a time, probably 10, 11 years ago now, where I was very low. I don't think I've ever said those words out loud or thought about taking my own life. To that extent, it's crossed my mind, like that curiosity kind of question, what would happen if I did go, but it's never been, I've never had that kind of want to end it. It's been like, I think obviously doing what I do and going through all that training is like a recognising that fairly quickly and going, okay, I need some help. So I went and I did go see someone, a hypnotherapist actually, funnily enough, 10 or 11 years ago, that kind of sorted that out. But there was a moment where I was very depressed. I was living with an ex-girlfriend, and we'd split up, but I was still living in the house. Rob, you're nodding, you know the situation where I was.
I literally was thinking when you said that, I was like,
she had left me, but I was living in this rented house that just stunk of cat piss, and it was miserable. It was in the middle of Gillingham. Nothing against Gillingham too much, but I was but it just wasn't a very. It was my first kind of time away from home, and that as well.
It was a really big moment. Yeah,
it was a big thing, and it just kind of all crumbled around me very, very quickly. Yeah. And I'd never kind of experienced that level of. I would say it's depression. I'm pretty sure I was depressed before, but.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I'd say knowing the situation really well. Yeah, absolutely.
You went downstairs, you could have got some pharmaceutical stuff.
Yeah. Where do you think I get my medication from?
I never got to that. I don't think I ever got quite to that point. Other than it going, kind of. Yeah. But I think it's an interesting. This has been an interesting conversation. Like I said, we've never really talked about it openly before, and I feel this feels very heavy and very deep. But also, useful is probably not the right word, but significant, I think, is the word I'm looking for. It feels significant.
Yeah.
Like I feel a little bit closer to.
It adds a level of understanding. In a way.
So, we've kind of gone off the questions what I was going to ask, which is fine.
Sorry.
It's fine. Cheers, Luke. There's always one.
It's that chair.
But it's that chair. Yeah.
I'm not saying that next
week. But just sort of more quick, not going to say quickly, but what are the things that make you feel that overwhelmed? So you kind of mentioned a few things like work, relationships, and that kind of stuff. I kind of want to come to you, Luke, a little bit, because you mentioned epilepsy and stuff. Like, how much does that have an impact on you feeling that sense of overwhelm?
Massive. It's my biggest. Yeah, it's the biggest thing that if I could change one thing about me, I would. Everything about it is not nice, and I'm very lucky in the sense of some people wouldn't even know I have epilepsy. Even though I have seizures every day, or I have, I think, while we were recording earlier, do you know what I mean? But yeah, I think it's the biggest factor of, maybe not, it's hard to describe. Definitely it's definitely the biggest factor of me being overwhelmed. Whether it be getting around, I have to, because everything that I do, I have to think, can I do this, and how I have to put in my epilepsy. So Charlie does the food shopping, and unless I can get up there via a bus or something, she's got to do that on her own. And yes, I can help her get it in and all sorts. I've left ovens on, I've left the sink going. We've had to teach Stephen from about the age of 4 what happens if I was to fall down the stairs, and how to unlock the front door, which I'm telling a 4-year-old, whenever it was we started to teach him how to look after me. It comes back to that vulnerability again. Work, I've got a pre-planned work, how I know I'm getting there and back. I try to pull back on some of it and give myself that independence by doing my cycling, my running, and all sorts. Because at them moments, no one knows that I'm epileptic. No, lucky enough, touch wood, I've not run, when I've been doing my racing and stuff, I've not had fits. I say that actually when I've done the London Marathon, I don't remember running past Katie Shark. And apparently it's quite a big bike, do you know what I mean?
You're oblivious to things anyway, mate, so...
I mean, I've had some terrifying phone calls in the past where you've been like riding somewhere, you have a seizure, you've been like, oh, I just went past the crossing. And, like,
Yeah.
and I'm on the phone just being like, I don't know where this crossing is, but he's just had a seizure.
Surprised it took him this long to bring up that he's run the London Marathon.
Oh yeah, so true. Yeah.
Just the once.
I know he just said when he's training. For
I was training, yeah.
I was just training for a marathon. I've done London Marathon. I've done Brighton Marathon.
Yeah, three
as
hours
well.
out.
And I'm doing London Marathon 26 as well. Link can be below.
I'll let you edit it.
Epilepsy Society. Make sure you say the charity as well.
Oh, dear.
It's not just GoFundMe page for
yeah,
yourself.
I'll put the link below. I'll put the
Yeah,
link
I
below.
need
I'll
some
be
new
kind.
trainers.
No, that is what I try to bring my independence back, because it's just demoralising, and I think it's so hard. I think you boys understand because you've known me for so long. However, you will never understand.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's a bit of that weird emotion.
Yeah. Like I know what's happening, but how it's feeling, obviously you haven't got a clue, kind of thing.
Yeah.
We can go through it with you, but never go through it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's,
yeah, yeah.
It is such a tough one.
I had a question about your epilepsy. Do you get more... Sorry, I'm hijacking your questions, but you're not keeping on topic. Do you get more overwhelmed at the thought of your epilepsy, or do you get more overwhelmed at your epilepsy?
Yeah,
Or from the
what
result of
happens.
it.
Yeah, thank you. I'm not
As it's coming or as it's happened? Kind of.
Thank you.
So,
So,
I think it would depend on the situation. So, new jobs, going to somewhere new, maybe meeting new people. Straight away, I'm thinking, oh bugger, like, what if they've never met anyone that's epileptic? I'm going to have to go through that whole conversation again. Don't worry, I'm not going to piss myself. All this kind of stuff. You don't have to hold my tongue or anything like that.
You haven't got to stick a tablet on my arse.
No, literally, I'm straight away. I'm thinking, oh, how am I going to make this as comfortable for them as possible? Because it's going to hurt my bum.
Yeah. Having administered it, not to you.
But it is. Like I use comedy and laughing about it in a way to try and make the person feel comfortable enough to ask me a question about my seizures. How many seizures do you have in all sorts? And so as I said, let's say going to a golf society or doing a running event or going for a new job is always a particular one because it's anxiety and all sorts of stuff sets it off. That's sort of something that I'm already taking into the account. So that's like the thought of my epilepsy, and then on the actual day, my anxiety. Let's say I've probably not slept well the day before. All kicks in, and suddenly I've been having 20 seizures a day for months, and I'll suddenly have 20 seizures a day in an hour or two.
Yeah. Do you think it'll ever get easier? Do you think it'll ever get easier? Like, will you find a balance between being overwhelmed about your epilepsy and managing being overwhelmed about your epilepsy?
I think it has got easier the older I get because I'm getting older, and also my friendship group's getting smaller. So
I don't think me and you ever had a conversation about you being epileptic.
No, I probably just had a fit in front of you, and you probably went somewhere. What's he doing?
No, do you know what? It was the fact that you were stood over it. I remember it's me, you, Matt, and
Roach?
Chappie. No. A chap we used to play with in one of the societies, who I'm not a fan of. You were stood over apart, and you were just stood there for like ages. And I was like, what on earth is this dude doing? Like, he is slow as balls. And it was the other person that told me. It was like, oh, he's epileptic. And I was like, yeah, all right. oh, now that makes sense. So yeah, it's quite. That's why I always have so many questions about it. So I'm going to use this as a guise to get all my questions in.
But yeah, no, it's.
Yeah.
I don't know if I actually answered your question.
I can't even remember what the question was. I think it's about something about epilepsy.
I
It was about being
Being
overwhelmed.
overwhelmed.
Parts, and yeah. So, what about you guys? What is it?
I'm not epileptic. I just have a vacant look. Sorry.
A vacant look. Oh.
Sorry, mate. Oh.
What? What
overwhelms
things? Yeah, what things is the cause of your overwhelmed feelings?
For me, it's that I can't do half of what I used to do. So I mean, I don't have epilepsy, but the arthritis is gradually getting worse. And you boys know, like, you know, I have treatment for it,
Yeah.
on and off, and that means either pain relief or whatnot. That overwhelms me a lot because I just can't do what I used to do. You know, I'm getting older as well. That doesn't help. That bothers me a lot. That makes me really overwhelmed.
Your dad out driving you.
Yeah. It's not very nice. Work is, I think, the main one. I think, and I think I've been quite vocal at times about being unhappy and being overwhelmed by it. And it's not so much the overwhelmedness of like, oh, it's hard. It's too much. You know, yeah. I'm sure you can. You've got that with teaching.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, 1,000%.
You kind of love it, but it
It's a burden.
drives you mad.
Yeah.
At the same point. I mean, like
So
all of
it's-
the jobs really that we do.
Yeah,
But
but teachers talk about it more than
yeah, I know. I honestly.
I didn't say anything then.
Honestly, yet. Yeah, I think work and just not being able to do what I used to do. That I think that's why I do so much walking and Pokemon Go. Just get a plug. It just,
Sponsored by.
What
Yeah.
kind of plug?
yeah. Yeah. I think that would be the biggest. Yeah. Very health related, isn't it? Mental, like to your physical health.
Rob?
Being a teacher.
Oh, I don't know.
I would say it's got to be teaching in it.
No, not necessarily. I can have I can have very challenging classes, and they can be challenging years.
Terrible, some might say.
In a way, but it's terrible how much it drains from you. But no, my biggest ones is probably just insecurities, just that element of comparing myself to others or comparing to myself what I think I should be. That's probably my biggest.
You can't be insecure and wear them creatures.
Oh, I was wondering how long it'd take.
I'm not plugging that because they're
They're terrible. I wouldn't plug them either.
Um,
Sarah will find out how much they are.
no, just cat boy.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I think mine is literally just judging myself on what I've done, on what I think I should have done, on where I think I should be, on where I'm feeling I'm not going to be, and what I look like. That's my biggest constant kind of thing. I never think particularly highly of myself or very successful of myself kind of thing.
You're married, 2 kids, house.
Yeah,
You're a babe.
Job.
but still,
Do you know what I mean?
I
Like,
still judge myself sometimes as.
I mean, I do, but you're a 10, so you know.
But yeah, no, I don't. Yeah, no, I don't know. It's a topic I find probably the hardest to talk about and be honest with.
Can I ask a question?
No.
You genuinely would be happy to sit and just listen to this conversation?
This is probably this is what I've heard one done. This is the quietest I've been by far, and it's because I don't know. I don't have the. I can't even look at people doing this one. It's. I don't know. I don't think I'm good enough I think I try very hard to be, and I think I'm a good husband. I think I'm a good father. I think I'm a good friend. I'm a good son. I'm a good teacher, but in my brain, it's still not good enough in a way.
You are, mate.
Thanks.
It's really odd that you go down the line and you go, I'm good at this, I'm good at this, I'm good at this, I'm good at this, I'm good at this. You can keep going, and then you go, oh, Emily, I'm not good at all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
it's entirely.
I'm not saying that it's wrong or right or wrong.
It's entirely contradicting, and I know I do it, but that is most how my brain works. Like, we were talking on the drive over here, where I was saying about some of my successes at the gym, and I'm trying to. I've changed the way I'm thinking about it, where I'm like, we were talking about our enjoyment of what we have at the gym, like why do we go, what's the thing that we enjoy about it, and I'm trying to change my thinking to be, a week or two ago I couldn't do this, now I can do this much weight, or I can do this much
Kilo
thing,
dumbbells
kind
are
of
working
thing.
out, yeah.
Or just pick up a Mars bar. But I'm really having to work hard to change that thinking, so it's more of a success pathway, rather than it being well, I lifted this much, but it's not that much, or I did some sit-ups, but it's not a six-pack kind of thing, and that's how it's always been. Whatever I've done, it wasn't enough, even if it was a
You wanted
success.
the next thing rather than.
I wanted the end product, whatever that thing was, kind of thing. Like I do think I'm a decent person, but is it enough to keep me on a positive train of thought? Not always, no. And I think that's my hardest thing of not. I don't know if I've got the right word. Like is it self-deprivation or whatever, where you like just destroy yourself for no real reason.
So self-sabotage, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I do. Yeah, I'll be like, I've done that, fantastic, but
I'll never.
you should have started it this long ago, or you should have been able to do it no matter what.
Yeah, see, that's where I like, I struggle, because I look at you and I think everything that you've done, you've gone to uni and you've done, like you've come back, you've got a job, and like everything you could literally list out, and then I compare everything that I've done, and I just think, in that short amount of time, you've done
mega more.
You've done loads of this, and then I think, I've only done that per list.
I think the opposite way. I think
and
I've
then
done
this
this,
is
you've done
exactly
that.
the weird aspect of viewing it. I've really tried over the last 10 years to change the way people view me, because I'm fully aware that probably 10 years ago I was probably just
Twat.
no, just a bit of a prat, in the sense of,
I didn't know you 10 years ago, so I can say it.
no, like I wouldn't say that.
Yeah,
I
I
wouldn't say
put
that
it
10
down.
years ago people would say, you know what, you're going away on holiday for 2 weeks. We need someone to look after the house. Let's ask Luke. And now I feel like they would go, let's ask Luke. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's little minor things like that, because.
So is it before that Luke was the squatter for a week, but now Luke is the responsible person?
Luke will feed your cats, as opposed to like now.
Luke
As
can be the
opposed
person
to,
that's our body.
Luke's going to be there, and your cat might turn up.
And
It might.
sorry,
See, I think so. 10 years ago, you were that element of you were trying to figure things out. Obviously,
Finding your way.
school was a bit tough, wasn't it? You were where I think you just weren't supported properly during it.
No, I don't think I supported myself at school.
No.
Not turning up.
But no, but that's because I don't think, having seen you in lessons and seen the way like epilepsy can be derived with not the best focus and attention and behaviour in a way. And from what I saw, school didn't help you with that at all. They just judged you with it, so then you judged them back.
As I've grown up, this is really going off topic. As I've grown up, it's 50-50. Yes, they didn't support me. Yes, the support probably wasn't there for a lot of people. However, the support that was there I didn't look up. I didn't use it. So it's I
was trying to think of that TA you had in who I can't remember
he
her
was a
name.
special child.
You were really close to her.
Miss West.
Yeah.
Mate,
Yeah.
honestly, she was the best TA I had ever.
Yeah.
She would literally walk me from class to class to make sure I got there. And she was the one TA that...
She bothered,
I-
and you bothered with her, but
Yeah.
there still was the point where there's only so much she could do and only so
Yeah.
much you actually did do, kind of thing.
But,
But that's where I think about, you're like, we've gone off topic,
yeah,
but
massively.
when we were talking about being overwhelmed and stuff like that, and you were talking about where you were in life, I was sitting here thinking about what you were like at school, thinking about how you're like you're this free spirit that just kind of gets on, and I think because for so long you've been like, well, I'm going to sort myself
I
out.
was a stand-in for so long.
You were literally going to be like you're going to pull yourself through it because someone isn't necessarily going to hold your hand all the way through it, and I think that's kind of where you are now. You are a bit of a free spirit in a way of, well, I'm going to do this because I or my wife or my son or we want to do this, so let's go do it. That element of, like, I'd put you down as like fearless in a way kind of thing, because you are
In a
home
sassy
with it.
drag queen kind of way.
going
or-
absolute bitching, not good way. But that's right. But that's how we're seeing you grow up, kind of thing. We're seeing you being overwhelmed, being angry at you. Sometimes I've seen you have to be, well, I can't dwell in it, so I'm just going to go blooming do it, and that's where I think you are now.
So using, I know this might sound quite self-centered. I don't know if that's the right word.
We'll judge in a minute.
Yeah.
It's going to be egotistical. It's going to be all about
change the word for what you need.
narcissistic.
So using that as a kind of a template, is there nothing that you can go, you know what, let's forget about all them other things that I'm good at. Let's just focus on that I'm a good dad, I'm a good teacher, I'm a good friend, type thing, I'm a good brother. Let's say the first top 4 things, you've got them in an order. And then you go to yourself, well, I'm not a very good person. Ignore everything out there. I'm not a very good person. How could you use anything that I do, just like we were saying about anything that our dads do, anything that I do, to potentially change your way of thinking into a bit more of a positive?
I don't know in a way, because I think it's that element of saying hateful things is easier than saying nice things, and that's just where I think my self-criticalness. I'll be like, yeah, I'm a great at this kind of thing, and then suddenly my brain would go, yeah, but 6 years ago, this one thing you said at that one point was pretty twatish, wasn't it? And that's the bit I cling on to, and then that then I just pull myself down. So I think now I'm trying to do those things. I'm trying to sort out my fitness in the right way, which will then sort out my body image, which will kind of sort out my own gratitudeness to myself. But I still have that element of I can't think of what it's called, but where you don't see your body with the way it actually is, kind of thing. Body dysmorphia. Yeah. I've enormously got that kind of thing, and I've had that since I was, I don't know, like 13 maybe, perhaps. It's always been there, and that ultimately is the underpinning of it. I've never been able to reach what I feel I could and should be. When I was 17, 18, I was hardcore going at the gym, and constantly there was physical activity every single day, sometimes 3-4 times a day, and probably the peak fitness of my life. And I look back at a picture now and I'll be like, Christ, I was so skinny. But I remember being back then, knowing I wasn't good enough, knowing it wasn't strong enough, it wasn't muscly enough, but also it was very unhealthy, and I had to do more and more and more and more and more, kind of thing.
Sounds like you could do with some therapy.
Yeah.
I know a good one.
Yeah.
It's not very local.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to wrap it up in a minute. Do I need to answer my own question? I can't even remember what the question was.
Was it?
Is that what parts?
I had to get overwhelmed or something like that.
What parts make me feel overwhelmed? I think.
Yeah.
I think for me, I get overwhelmed. Taking it back to the title of the podcast with the roles, I think I find it really hard to balance. Sometimes I feel it's hard to always be the best dad, but also be the best husband I can be. Balancing that with work, making sure I'm the best therapist. I'm self-employed, but being the best version of me in that respect, and when one's dipping, like at the moment, I find it hard. Being self-employed is great, blah blah blah, but it's also hard because you're expected. You're your own boss, your own marketer, your PA, all of those kind of things. But like when I'm here in this office space, I know that a few yards down the garden is my home life, and I know that Evie's asking, "Where are you going, Daddy?" I'm going to work at the end of the garden. Do you know what I mean? But
it must be tough on a 2-hour train journey. It's overwhelming situation.
It's very overwhelming, that commute.
If it's raining.
The traffic.
But knowing that I'm here,
Traffic.
You can't manage 2 cats in the garden. Sorry, bro. Sorry.
Knowing that I'm up here, but knowing that G might need me in there, or hearing her screaming or crying or whatever it is, I find that very hard to balance, and that's quite overwhelming because I feel like I can feel like I'm stretched too thin sometimes. So that's where I feel overwhelmed. But it's been another good conversation. Thank you, lads. Deep. But I think it's been a really good chat and really significant. I know it's been heavy and hard.
That's what she said.
She's never said that.
It has been a difficult conversation, I think, but a significant one. We'll go back to that word, significant. So, same question I'm always going to ask at the end. Is there anything that you've learnt about yourself from this conversation?
Mine's less what have I learned about myself, but learned about others. In fact, of
That wasn't the question, now was it?
no, as in I'm not alone in a way. I have very much my own burdens and that, but not necessarily that I'm alone in certain aspects of where I've been at life in times, kind of thing. So,
I don't know. I feel that I've been quite honest. This one, a bit more open than maybe used to, normal. So I don't really know, to be fair. I wouldn't say there's anything that I have learned about myself. Just maybe things that I wasn't expecting to say. Might warn Charlie.
Yeah, give her the heads up.
give
it a heads up.
Someone else might want to.
It's things I definitely wasn't thinking that. Like maybe when we talked about overwhelm stuff, like probably in my head I was thinking about those times, but I wouldn't have brought them forward. But maybe learn that it is a bit safer to talk about it than I've allowed the perception.
Do you think now, both myself and Rich have said it, at a later stage, either to us or to Sarah or to whoever, you would be in a position to go, you know what, I am too overwhelmed here, I've got these thoughts, I've got everything going on, I might approach someone about it.
Maybe.
Therapist.
I've not had those thoughts for a long time now.
Yeah.
I've not had them for genuinely really since I met Sarah, and even probably the most stressful time when my children were born, I wasn't really feeling it then, which I think is quite significant because that's probably a time I would have felt it because that was quite a challenging time. I think some part of my mind now is there were feelings for quite a long time ago of like, why do I need to say them now, or who wants to listen to what I felt a long time ago, kind of thing. So yeah, maybe, but I don't expect that necessarily to come back, or I hope it doesn't come back, kind of thing. But yeah, maybe.
Rich?
You've not really said a lot, have you?
No, I like to listen. That's what I've learned. No, I think that's a difficult question on this topic, is what have I learned, because everything I already knew anyway about myself. Like I live it daily. So it's not a cop out, but I don't feel like that's the right question for me to answer. I feel the right question is, what have I learned about others, and what maybe role I can play in that dynamic, you know, because I have a lot of experience in that area, and I won't.
You're more comfortable sharing than others, I'd say.
Yeah.
Don't be organising
Yeah.
how he's going to be
It's a
killed.
skill set. It's a skill set you have in a way, a knowledge.
Yeah, so it's kind of nice to know that someone can come to me if they need to talk about that sort of thing, because I do have an answer.
Yeah.
It might not be your answer, but it's our
The
answer,
answer, yeah.
you know, to rationalise things if that's what that person needs at that point. So, I don't know, it's a difficult one, because I and it's not a dig at the host, but it's just not the question I feel
the
that
right
I
question.
could answer
Okay.
about today.
Yeah, maybe it's the wrong question. I think
Controversial.
I don't feel necessarily I've learnt a lot. I think what I'm going to take away is a question similar to you, is what can I do in the future to enable more of these conversations with you guys and with other people, because to kind of know that those were some of your thoughts 10 years ago, however long it was, but us not had that conversation amongst ourselves,
And we're very close.
and we're very close, and we talk all the time.
I generally thought I'd at least mentioned it to yourself at some point, and you just weren't listening.
I had a seizure.
I think we have had a very low conversation that you've had. I don't think you said those words to me.
It's because your voice is so deep.
Yeah, I think we've had. I don't think we went into anywhere near that detail.
And it does make me wonder, like, knowing how close we are, and that subject or
That mystery behind
that deepness, I guess, has never come out. Like, what is it like for other people?
Yeah.
Like, if people don't have maybe as a closer relationship as we do,
Yeah.
what can be done more for them, I guess.
Yeah.
Some food for thought.
Definitely.
But thank you.
Friendship groups need to have more chats.
We do. They do. I think we
That's about true.
the camera's going to go off.
It just shut off.
Thanks for listening to Between the Roles with me, Michael Blown. If you've got any thoughts, feedback or questions about today's episode, I'd love to hear from you. You can reach me by email at loquicounselling@outlook.com. That's LOQUI counselling@outlook.com, or through my website www.loquicounselling.co.uk, or on social media at Loquicounselling and Hypnotherapy. If you've enjoyed the conversation, please like, subscribe and share it with someone who might relate. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time on Between the Roles.